Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we will be talking about a brand new EP from Tribulation entitled Hamartia. But first, before we do that, I want to let y'all know real quick that the Metal Meltdown will be hosting a very special Metroid Prime remastered drinking game and live stream this coming Friday, April 7th at approximately 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna drink, we're gonna party, shoot the shit, sing songs, shoot some aliens, and solve puzzles with Samus Aran, one of the most iconic video game heroines of all time, and once myself and my host and my lovely wife, Anna, are all liquored up, we'll probably move on to some other silly-ass games as well. What's that? It's Good Friday, and you have some kind of family or work or religious obligation? Too bad. I don't know, man. That kind of sounds like a you problem to me. I don't know what to tell ya. No, but for real, we'll be streaming most of the evening that Friday. Pop in whenever you like, leave whenever you like, and if you can't make it at all, don't worry. It will be archived right here on the Metal Meltdown, so you can watch it later on, the following day, or the following week for all I care. So booyah, there you go, Metroid Prime drinking game and live stream, Friday, April 7th, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hell yes, let's party, hope to see you there. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's finally start talking about Hamartia, this brand new EP from Swedish black metal crew Tribulation, quite possibly one of the most prolific extreme metal bands of the 2010s. Now, in my opinion, Tribulation have always been really cool, having been responsible for some gnarly, vicious, bloodthirsty, blackened death metal destruction on records like The Horror and The Formulas of Death in the early 2010s. But a good chunk, a good majority, dare I say, of metalheads would say that Tribulation got really pretty cool in the mid-2010s, right when they started dropping records like The Children of the Night and Down Below, both of which abandoned death metal influence in favor of goth rock, occult rock, and death rock influence. They did retain a lot of the darkness and even brutality at times, but they also, they had some more simplistic, hook-laden structures and formulas, more shadowy, gothic atmospheres and production. And while some felt that 2021's Where the Gloom Becomes Sound was a bit of a downgrade, I respectfully would argue the opposite. I felt that it took everything that The Children of the Night and Down Below had done so well and so successfully and simply expanded upon it, took it into much more heartfelt and atmospheric territory. Since then, there have been some lineup changes. Guitarist and founding member Jonathan Holton left the band shortly after finishing work on Where the Gloom Becomes Sound. I remember speaking to singer and bassist Johannes Andersson back in early 2021, and we kind of talked about that, and he had made it very clear to me that they were taken aback and surprised by Jonathan leaving the band, but that they were going to persevere and they were going to make the best of it with the help of Joseph Thal, and they were going to continue making kick-ass music, and that they were already working on some kick-ass music with Joseph. Now, over 2 years later, we finally get to see the fruits of Tribulation's labor with the Hamartia EP. No fundamental changes are being made to the Tribulation sound and style on this EP, not that that's a problem. This essentially compiles a slew of ideas and sounds and vibes that we've heard on the last 3 studio albums into something comprehensive, fun, short, dark, evil, spooky, quintessentially Tribulation. And as any EP should do, it fills me with a lot of excitement for another full-blown studio album. Anyone concerned that Jonathan Holton's departure would somehow hurt Tribulation don't need to be anymore. Opening number and title track Hamartia wastes absolutely no time, hitting you right in the face with blackened psychedelia and pounding occult rock rhythms and riffs and beats. A lot of sinister sneers and acidic vocal spats, soaring guitar melodies and pyrotechnics everywhere. There's a lot of like dark, shadowy, supernatural atmosphere here, which is great. This thing sounds like you're walking through a graveyard. There are these like really quiet, subdued kind of backing vocals, and it constantly sounds like somebody whispering into your ear so eerily and softly. There's also some more meditative and cathartic riffs right around the 4-minute mark that paves the way for a really emotive solo. This whole thing just kind of ends up feeling like we're in the midst of a dangerous ritual. Then there's Axis Mundi, which has some more elaborate, guitar-driven melodicism that almost feels like something Paradise Lost or Catatonia might have done in like the mid to late 90s or even the early 2000s. There are also a lot of moments where Tribulation pull back a lot of the heavier elements and they really zero in on Johannes's vocals, and they complement that with some very basic kind of like classic goth rock, goth metal soundscapes and chords. It almost kind of gives off this vibe of being like lured in the dead of night by a mysterious shadowy figure and then being assaulted, because guess what? Of course that's what the mysterious shadowy figure would do. What'd you think he was going to do? Give you a bouquet of roses? Then there's Hemoclysm, which completely drenches itself in more slow-paced, cinematic doom and gloom and melancholy. Definitely feels like something that would have been on their last album, Where the Gloom Becomes Sound. Probably some of the coolest atmospheric work on this record as well. I mean, on top of like the goth rock and occult rock textures and riffs and like the typically sinister and evil vocals, you also have these more theatrical descending keyboard riffs and melodies, and you also have these droning, ominous vocal chants. And then there's Vengeance, the Pact, which is where Tribulation actually does kind of shake things up a little bit. I mean, a lot of the elements that we've highlighted and praised remain intact on this number, but also it sports a little bit of a prog rock, prog metal underbelly with some more technical, nuanced, dramatic riffery. A lot of clean vocals as well, and it also, at a certain point, transitions into like some blackened hard rock heavy metal. It doesn't make for like the most cohesive or balanced listen. It's probably the worst cut on this record, but it is interesting. And I do respect Tribulation for going into this territory, and I would like to see this territory re-explored in the future. Everyone does a great job on this thing. Love the production, love the vibe. If Vengeance the Pact were a little better executed, I think we'd be looking at a 4 out of 5. Right now, I'm feeling a very, very, very enthusiastic 3.5 out of 5. Whatever feelings you have on Tribulation are very likely to remain intact after having heard Hamartia, even despite the few twists and turns of Vengeance the Pact. It just happens to arrive in a slightly smaller package than usual. It just happens to be an appetizer, a soup du jour, as opposed to the main entree. But that's fine. I'll happily chow down on Tribulation's equivalent to stuffed calamari and lobster bisque, because I know when that main entree does finally arrive, it's gonna be fantastic. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be. So what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.